The following program is brought to you by Wightman TV and Bruce Telecom.
Hi, my name is Sharon Darcy. I'm the General Manager for the North Perth Chamber of Commerce, and I welcome you to this month's edition of What's Happening in North Perth. We've got lots of exciting things happening in Listowel, and we encourage you to go online to www.npchamber.com and check out our list of events. One of the most exciting things that's coming up is something that the Chamber's put together. It's called a yarn bombing event. Maybe you've never heard of it before, but it is exciting. We've put together a video and we'd like you to watch it. And in the video you'll see all kinds of different creations and ideas that somebody can participate in. And we ask all businesses, organizations, or those that just love to knit or crochet. Maybe you have extra yarn at home. Maybe you have blankets and just pieces of yarn that you have created and you look at anymore, you don't want them, you can donate them to us. And we are actually going to totally recreate our community from August 10th to August 20th and make our community look totally yarn bombed. If you have any questions, we would love to hear from you. If you want to get involved, there's registration forms and all kinds of opportunities that you can participate just by going online to npchamber.com and seeing the little yarn bomb graphic. Hit it and you'll go right into the page to get all the answers that you might need. And we totally want you to share this event with others, especially ones that really love this kind of involvement. Another thing we want to do is invite you to come into the North Perth Chamber office if you happen to be just visiting Listowel. And we have some fantastic books that we are giving to any of our visitors. There's actually 9 participating businesses that you can take this book into, and you have a chance to win 250 Shop Local dollars just by stopping into the store and filling out the ballot and leaving it with them, as well as some of the stores have some great bonuses just for coming in and visiting them. So we encourage you to shop, discover North Perth.
Hi, my name is Lisa Schaefer and I'm the Community of Character Coordinator for North Perth. For the summer months, we will be celebrating inclusion as our character attribute. This is when you choose to be inclusive. Our character challenge is to choose to include everyone. Take the time to learn and understand the many cultures and backgrounds you're surrounded by every day. Many of our businesses and nonprofit organizations that are part of Community of Character embrace inclusion every day. We can see this in the park programs that North Perth offers, to the library, to the businesses who hire a varied, diverse group of employees. We are very proud of the businesses and organizations that are part of Community of Character. If you're interested in joining us, please check us out on our website at www.communityofcharacter.ca. You can also look for us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, we encourage you to live, work, and play with character.
Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Terri Sparling from the Huron Perth Center. And Terri, I welcome you to share your thoughts with us and the visitors or watchers of this program. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Huron Perth Center is, where it started, and years of service, where it's grown to?
That's great. Thank you for the chance. Well, the Huron Perth Center has been in operation since 1977. We were formed as a result of some divested funds from the old Ontario Psychiatric Hospital in Goderich. And the vision of the steering committee way back when was to create a community-based service that was strength-based, family-oriented, and more of a preventive in nature rather than waiting till kids needed to be hospitalized. Because really, prior to that, families would get to a point of distress that children were hospitalized. I think we've come a long, long way. So we began in Huron County, and it was the Huron Centre for Children and Youth, and very quickly we were invited to provide service in Perth, and that actually started a long-standing positive relationship with the Perth District Health Unit because they gave us space. By the early 80s, we had opened the Stratford office, and by mid-80s, we had opened the Listowel office. The Listowel office has moved a couple of times, and our current location is actually beside you.
That's right.
Yeah. So through the years, the center, first of all, it provides mental health services for kids birth to 18 and their families. So there's always that the file is opened to the child that may be experiencing distress, but we are then providing service within the context of that child and family. So parents are engaged, family members may be engaged to try and resolve concerns. We also have added some youth justice services. We've got a couple of violence against women services in Huron County, and that's allowed us to grow from well, in the early days, a budget of about $800,000 to now a budget of over about $3 million. One of the things that people wonder about, is what's mental health, and oftentimes what we're talking about when we say, there are mental health concerns, we're really talking about a range of distresses that may include a diagnosis of something like anxiety or depression, but it's generally symptoms of distress, and with kids, we see it with behavior. But we talk about mental health, we're also talking about, we all should have mental health. Mm-hmm. You want positive ways of coping with life stress and being able to manage the difficulties that come up as a result of living.
Excellent. Terri, we were talking a little bit earlier just about how the general family, how would they recognize that there's a need, or is it just them that recognizes the need? How does it happen? Yeah.
I think that lots of times, we would say parents know their kids best. Mm-hmm. So we oftentimes see that it's parents themselves that recognize that something doesn't seem to be right, and they then start looking for services and chatting with people that they trust. They might go to a family doctor, they might talk to a minister, they might talk to the teacher at school. They might call us directly if they knew about us. So sometimes it comes by parents. The older the child, then the child sometimes can self-identify, something doesn't seem right. I'm crying all the time, or I'm upset about, or I don't manage certain things well. But lots of times it's actually someone else that identifies that the child is struggling. I've oftentimes said that you can ask any kindergarten teacher to pick off the kids that are going to struggle, because even at that young age you can already start to see that there are children that are struggling with one part of social development or emotional development, and they're pretty good at being able to predict that, if it's surfacing at kindergarten, that if we don't do something now, then chances are it's going to surface at a later point in time. So educators play a key role in identifying that kids might be struggling.
So that obviously makes sense, that if there's an outburst or an action that doesn't seem to, we don't always want to say follow the norm, but it could be the opportunity to help the kids earlier. Mm-hmm. and develop better coping strategies.
For sure. we were talking earlier just about how there's some change afoot across the province within children's mental health, but there's also a change within education and health around how we can work better together, and how we need to be able to identify those issues at an earlier point in time. We certainly know that the earlier the intervention, the more effective the treatment. The longer something is let go, then it gets complicated.
That's right.
What starts out as a simple issue of anxiety can grow to school refusal, can grow to behavior that's out of control, and now you've involved the justice system, when really, if there had been intervention at an earlier point in time, the child would have been put back on track and supports in place and move along. So
that kind of leads us up to what people talk about the system. Mm-hmm. Whether you are a low-income family or a family that has lots of money doing fine, there's no stigma. It can affect anybody, and being part of the system doesn't necessarily stop you anymore, because just identifying the issues and asking for help, there is an answer now, or there's willing partners and organizations and groups and doctors that are working together collaboratively.
You're picking off a couple of things we talked about, that's for sure. One thing I think I want to say is that mental health issues cross all socioeconomic strata. So you can't say that just poor people experience mental health issues, or it really is something that we see everywhere. The second thing I think I would say is that historically we haven't really acted as a system at all. Agencies have had their little niche market, they've done their little thing, they haven't necessarily connected to others. Families have found it difficult to navigate the system as if it was a system. It's only been in the last year that the Ministry of Children and Youth Services has set a vision of having a provincial system. Really what we have is a collection of fragmented agencies that all are trying to do good things. So you've got our sector that's actually trying to organize its services in a way that families can find them, but then you've also got other sectors like education and health that are saying none of us can do this alone. Yeah, we absolutely need to be able to work together, and that when a child is experiencing distress, and a child or youth with mental health issues needs help, their family shouldn't have to figure out how to get that help. They should be able to go to any part of the system, whether that's education or our system or health, and we should be able, the service providers should be able to help make that system response to a family so that they experience seamless service. That's the vision. We're not there yet, but man, we all get that it's when we work together that we actually make a difference and bring all the pieces together to make a difference for kids and families.
That almost sounds relieving, right? Like to know that that we're really coming together and moving forward as a community,
It is. It's very exciting to be in the work right now. We've been working for a long time that mental health has had such stigma that there has been no public attention to it. So when you called me and offered me the chance to talk about mental health and mental health services, I jumped, because the more that people understand that this is a problem that is experienced by all segments of our society, that any one of us could suffer at any time, that we all deserve to have access to mental health services the same way we deserve access to health services, and that it's when people don't have to face the stigma of asking for help that then services can actually step up and be available to them. And then when you think the changes that are happening within the services, so that we are taking on some of the responsibility to help families get what they need, that takes away a bit of the burden as well. So there's exciting changes afoot, and we're happy to tell people about it.
I'm just going to ask you one more question, Terri, about Huron Perth Centre. Because we're really geared towards what's going on in Listowel, not that the Huron part isn't important, but the Perth part of it. How big is the caseloads and stuff going on, like right now? Like, can you foresee it's manageable? Everything's happening very well at the intakes and.
I'm going to start with the need is far greater than what our resource level is. So it doesn't matter how you shuffle the deck chairs. If you still need more chairs, you're going to experience some challenges with waiting periods. But one of the changes that's happening across the province is we were given the latitude to reorganize the existing funding that we had to place it where we needed it the most. And that's really helping us put services to more ongoing counseling needs as opposed to tiny little programs, and that will help us create a better response at the front door as well as more resource behind the front door, and so that people, when they need service, we should be able to respond to them fairly quickly, and then if they need ongoing, move them to ongoing service. The issue of caseload is quite a unique question because it depends on the kind of therapy that's being used and the age that you're seeing kids and all of that. So it's a bit of an individual thing, but the key is that being able to reorganize the funding has really allowed us to put more resource to that ongoing counseling that will allow families to be seen for the length of time they need, and then when they're done, move on and free up space for those families that are also needing that service. I think sometimes families have held on to counseling kind of thinking like, I don't want to end because it's been going so well. It's like carrying an umbrella. And what I would say is, I get it. The waiting list has been challenging, but with the system changes, we're very hopeful that people can be put on track, supported to move on with our other partners to keep the progress going and free up space for other people to come in, and then if they need to come back in, they can come back in, and that the flow, the flow can go, and that we can manage so that it's not about caseload, it's about people getting what they need when they need it, and then being able to move on knowing that if they need it again, they can come back.
So as a family that's already used your services, and we so couldn't have probably coped ourselves without the services, is there a way that, or does the agency look out for volunteers, or is there any other ways for the public to say thank you or to come back to provide any assistance, or is it just kind of like a great testimonial to the...
Testimonials are huge because I think people find it hard to make that first call, and so the fact that people are willing to volunteer that personal information, I think helps reduce stigma. That's gold. Mm-hmm. I mean, what you just offered is a message that gives people permission to say, hey, I can get help too. From time to time, we look for board members, so that would be a place where people can be helpful. We have a fundraiser next week that we're doing in Stratford. It's called the Homegrown Hootenanny, and we have a silent auction, and some listable businesses have been very kind to donate, and that's been lovely. We never turn away gifts of money, but I don't ever want the community to feel like it's all about that. Sometimes it's just about connecting people to create partnerships. We have a fabulous list of partners. Some of them are usual partners, and some of them are quite unusual. And it's quite cool when you can put together people who want to make a difference. Yeah. So I would say if people are concerned about the issue, have them give me a call, and we'll see how we can figure out how they might be able to make a difference. Thank
you so much, Terri. I think there's a great learning and understanding to the Huron Perth Centre. And we have all the information about you right on our the visual, so that anybody can make calls or relate to the websites and stuff. So
we welcome your calls, and we'll try and be as helpful as we can.
Thank you. This afternoon, I'm with Ryan Erb, the Executive Director for the United Way Perth-Huron. Today we're going to talk a little bit about mental health, and we thought we'd start with 211. What is that?
Well, 211 is a service that the United Way helped to bring to the region just a few years ago, so that anyone in the community can access information about social services. So, for example, if you are someone in the community that maybe is struggling with a mental health issue and you don't know where to turn, you don't know who it is that might be able to help you, well, you can call 211, or you can look up 211 on the internet, and you can find information about the services that are available in your community. So 211 is fortunately available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we have trained staff that answer those phone calls, and they are able to connect you with the right service. Every community, including ours, updates the local database, so the United Way does that, so that when people call into the service, they actually have information about the right services here and can connect people. If it's an emergency, they will be able to transfer them on kind of a warm call basis to a service that can care for them right away. If it's a non-emergency, they simply provide the information the person is looking for.
So because it's 211 is connected with United Way, does that mean that there's you'll do a study on this too? Like, can you take that information and kind of be aware of what's going on in our community then, eh?
Yeah, one of the great things about 211, besides the service it provides, it does allow us to do some initial work on caller data, right? So
Yeah.
all the people that phone in will tell us, what it is that their issue is, and so that information is put together in reports, and we see call volume statistics come out of it. So invariably, one of the number one reasons why people call is for utility assistance. So they can't make ends meet, they can't pay for the bill that comes in for the oil furnace in the middle of the winter, and so we're fortunate that they're able to then access the programs that they need. But that data tells us that that's an important service in the community.
And that's what you need, isn't it? And or as we try to reach out and aid in our community, these are triggers, and we can say that's inevitably going to be a trigger for another mental issue or whatever could be. Like that's a lot of stress. So and help finding the resources that are in our community. Since mental health is part of this program, Ryan, are you finding anything else that is trending? What's happening in our community?
One of the interesting things that we have been noting in the last couple of years is with our youth grant program. So every year the United Way sets aside some money to support youth in our community so that they can initiate programs and services themselves. We think it's a great thing to bring, social entrepreneurship, you might call it. And so they have opportunity to apply for up to $1,000, and as long as they do that with an adult trustee helping them, we get applications every year for some really great ideas. And we have noticed that about 75% of the applications in the last couple of years have been related to mental health. And so youth are understanding that this is an important issue in our community. And in fact, here in North Perth, we had an application just a year ago, and they brought a guest speaker to the high school with the funding from the United Way to talk about that issue, to raise awareness. And so it was a really great opportunity to support the community and support the initiative of a local youth who really understood that this was an important issue.
And wanting to make a difference within our own, community and their friends and the school. Like, that's terrific.
Absolutely. And it makes such a difference when it comes from a peer.
Yeah.
We can write up brochures and articles and until we're blue in the face, and maybe even put commercials on television or whatever. But until youth themselves are talking about it and comfortable with talking about it and sharing about those issues, hey, wait a sec, I do struggle, and I want to admit that is the case, not just hide it from our peers. I think we're actually making some progress on the issue.
I talk about progress. I think United Way is recognized as making a lot of progress. Do you want to share a little bit about the agency, the organization, and how it's changed in the last while?
Sure. Well, the United Way is certainly growing stronger in the region of Perth and Huron, and so we're grateful for the increased support year over year that we keep attracting from donors in the region. With the larger fundraising, we're able to fund and support more initiatives in the community, so we're fortunate for that. We've been making some changes in terms of the focus and emphasis of the organization. Every few years we go through that. We invite constituents to help us understand what they want the United Way to be doing. And so we're in we're in the phase where we're making some changes in that regard. So we're going to be making some announcements in the near future about that.
I think that I've seen United Way symbol, logo more and more. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting more aware of it, or if I'm understanding the how it, as a big organization, actually goes out and supports all these little organizations. I don't know if everybody even knows that, how much goes out and comes right back in
Right,
again.
yeah. Well, for example, here in North Perth, when you add up all the different services that the United Way is supporting that help residents of North Perth, it represents more than $650,000 of funding that comes in.
Yes.
And so it's substantial, right? That money is raised throughout Perth and Huron for prioritized needs based on how we understand the community. But people are benefiting right here in North Perth each and every year from the work that the United Way does. And we're excited, too, that we've been pioneering a new local community committee here in North Perth too, identifying specific social issues in the region, and we're in the midst of figuring out what those issues are and maybe some strategies to then hopefully make a difference with those projects.
And moving forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Because things always change, we can't always keep going the same
Absolutely.
groove. Right?
All right. So you learn, and you try new strategies, you work at things, and you see the results, and then you end up making changes again. But right now we're working hard with a great group of local volunteers, including you, to make that happen.
If people are looking for more information about United Way.
Well, they can easily head to our website. That's certainly where the greatest resource is. So perthhuron.unitedway.ca. What you'll find is accessible information there, not only about our programs and services and our partners, but also you'll find information from our Social Research and Planning Council, which is something important to mention before we finish off. That council produces reports on social issues, as you might understand just by the name of it, and we have a wealth of information on the website, various reports about social issues, whether it's on transportation, which is a real challenge in rural areas, and we're following up some of those reports, of course, with actions to try to make the situation better. But head to our website. You can find lots of social information. You can find out how you can donate, how you can access 211, and all the different things that we're talking about, even if you want to apply for a youth grant.
And are you always looking for volunteers or the way that you continue to grow? Is there an outreach for that? Are you saying, yes, I need help? Or
Absolutely. The United Way has over 600 volunteers in the region, and in order for us to continue to do what we're doing, we heavily rely on volunteers. So we're always looking for people who are willing to help us with fundraising. We're always looking for people who are willing to be on committees that serve the community, like the Social Research and Planning Council or our Community Impact Committee, those committees that are really about making a difference in our community. So
isn't that great? So people could come out, volunteer, thinking they're going to make a difference, but in turn they probably find that it's also so rewarding for themselves.
Well, Sharon, there's no question about that. Volunteers all the time tell me that they get more out of it than they give, and I sit there amazed with it, of course. I mean, I've volunteered and I understand it, but when I have so many volunteers that give so many hours, there are some of our core volunteers who, they practically work full-time for our organization, and we're thrilled with that, and we're always looking for more people. I would say especially in regions like North Perth, we want to make sure that we have enough volunteers to represent this geography as well.
Yeah, that's terrific. Thanks for your time today, Ryan.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to do it.
As a reminder, the North Perth Chamber encourages you to stop in for a visit while you're in Listowel. And also, one more time, all the events that we like to post are on www.npchamber.com, and especially our Facebook. We stay very current, listing our events and what's going on. And of course, we have so many things going on, from motorcycle rallies, our fair, golf tournaments, something for everyone. So just stay connected, and we'll see you soon. Thanking our partners in their commitment to the Chamber, supporting our endeavors towards business prosperity and a stronger community. Our partners are Listowel Technology, the North Perth Municipality, Wightman Telecom, Ideal Supply, the Listowel Banner, Cherry Bus Lines, Canada Trust, Libro Credit Union, Conceptual Pathways, and Right Bite Orthodontics.
The preceding program was brought to you by Wightman TV and Bruce Telecom.